guys, Vinny from AZ Fly Shop. Tonight we're going to be tying up a carp fly that's been pretty hot in not just the canals, but carp water all around. It's called the Nightmare on Carp Street, in spirit of October 31st or Halloween if you're not celebrating. Good for you. But it originally started out a little differently. We took it out to Carp Nirvana, and it was originally tied in this chenille tail. But to be honest, I love using this new dubbing tool that we got. It's called the Smain. Smain. We're not completely sure how to pronounce it. At least I'm not. But I think I tie almost 90% of my flies with this tool or a dubbing loop in general. It just makes it a lot stronger. Makes it look, you can get it really buggy. But with this fly, I tie at actually all my carp flies, I tie in different weights. You want to be able to move it throughout the different currents and depths to get it to the carp the way you want it. Obviously, carp are finicky, so getting that right presentation is great. I'm going to start this one with the bead chain eyes, but I do tie a lot of them with dumbbell eyes. Some of them orange, but most of them black, even olive. But yeah, we're going to use this Smain tool a lot. We have it in the shop. It's an absolutely phenomenal tool. It's a Danish tool. So yeah, let's get ripping. So we're going to start off with the Tiemco 2499, and it is a black barbless hook, nymph hook, that I actually tied with the first time I tied this fly, and I haven't went back since. We're also going to use black thread, Danville 140 denier. So we're going to start off securing our thread to the hook, snip off that tag end, and then we're going to use the medium bead chain eyes in black from Hairline. I like the shine on them. Some people like tying in matte. I like the shine personally, but we're actually going to start about 2/3 of the way back from the eye, or in front of the end of the shank, and we're going to give some securing wraps to these eyes, cross wraps, and then we're going to give some figure eights as well. And we're going to bring our thread all the way to the back, right to the bend. And we're going to start getting in. I'm going to move this up a little bit just so I can kind of get my dubbing loop ready. But we're going to start using the Smain dubbing loop tool. So with that, we're actually going to do a tail with Romer's Semi-Seal in the color Halloween because, again, it's Halloween. I like personally cutting off the corner of these bags and pushing the dubbing all the way to the end. You can get the dubbing out a lot easier and in full strands. So I'm going to take a couple pinches of this, just set it on the base of my vise, and I'm going to make a dubbing loop that is about the size of my middle finger. You can make them any way. And the way we make dubbing loops is we take a loop like this, wrap around your loop you just made, pull it up, and then do a couple securing wraps behind it exactly where you want it. And I'm going to move my thread out of the way just so you guys can see this. The trick to this is it's actually a hook, and it also has like a plier mechanism on it. So we're going to go around both of these threads, and then we're going to move the hook to the middle and secure that through the plier. And then I'm just moving my thread back over here and out of the way. We're going to take that dubbing, and another good thing with this is to rest the twister against the bobbin because it doesn't tend to spin. It is kind of a pain sometimes with any dubbing twister in general when you get a dubbing loop that's spinning before you want it to spin. It's not as effective. So I'm going to take these tips, stack them on top of each other, and we're going to put them in the dubbing loop. Another cool thing about this is that it's always closed, so the tension's always on it, so you can put the dubbing in the loop. I like to do this one a little sparse, personally, but you can have it down, and because of gravity, obviously, it's not going to fall out. We're going to put some more in there. You know what? I'd like to make it a little longer too. So we're going to do a little bit longer of a carp tail tonight, just because we're feeling a little different. And with that, we're going to hold the thread on our back, and we're going to just spin it like a top. And that dubbing is going to twist up. You want it's secure, so if you haven't tied a tubbing loop before, it secures all of the dubbing in here pretty well. I'm also going to use a Velcro brush to really brush it out, make it look pretty buggy, if the hook would bear with me. And we're actually going to take, I'm going to use my rotary function just to get the thread started, but we're going to take all of this back and we're going to fold in half to make your tail, and then it'll start to roll, but you're going to twist it the same way that your dubbing loop goes. You're going to lay your dubbing loop over the front of the eye, and you're going to secure it down with your thread. And that's how you get the good little, cool little tail with it. And you're just going to snip off your dubbing loop where you started to secure it. And we're actually going to do another dubbing loop. So, tighten up my vise real quick. And we're going to do it with peacock herl. So we're doing it with the strung peacock herl in fluorescent orange from Nature's Spirit. We're going to take the tips that can be a little bit fragile, but I like to take about an inch off of the shortest one just so it's not horrible. We're going to tie these in from the front to the back and snip off the excess. But we're going to make a dubbing loop that is shorter than the peacock herl just so we can grab it, as you guys will see. I like to measure it like that, and then we're going to do the same technique of making your loop, rounding it up, and then putting it where you want. So we are going to get the dubbing tool again. Get this out of the way. And same technique. And then now we're going to grab the ends of the peacock herl with the plier function. And this is what I like about this one. You can have it straight down and you can spin it up. It spins really fast, and it makes the peacock herl very strong. So when you're trying to, I don't know, when you're catching fish, it doesn't tend to break off as much. We like tying it like that in the shop, and I'm going to put this off to the side for now because I'm going to tie in the collar, which I'm going to use the Grizzly variant brown sloppin. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to take the tip, move it all back to have a tie-in point, which is going to be a little arrow in the back. And I'm going to tie it in right behind those eyes. Put this out of the way. Okay, and then once we do that, we can move. I like to keep my thread over these eyes. Personally, it just is a really good way for it not to fall over. I'm going to trim off that excess, and we are going to palmer this hackle around. I usually give it a couple turns and also kind of nestle it back a little bit as you're going. And then we're going to tie it off right behind the eyes as well. Trying to wiggle it through there so you're not catching as many fibers. It happens, it's just fly tying. And then trim it off. So with that, I like to pull all of the hackle that I just put on, and then we're going to wrap our peacock herl, keep it spun up, up the body. And then once you get to that hackle, you're going to pull it to the back, contrary to what we were just doing. And we're going to wrap it right behind these eyes. And then the reason we have such a long loop is I like to go over the eyes, over and under around the eyes, just because it makes it look really buggy. I think it works really well. And we're going to secure that off. We're going to tie that loop off up front. And then we're going to cut off our dubbing loop, the excess material. Give it a couple more wraps up front just to build up a little head. And we're going to whip finish. Actually, before that, I'm going to cut off some of these stragglers that kind of got trapped. And we are going to whip finish this fly. I usually just do one whip finish. You can do two. It's all pretty much what you want to do. But that is the Nightmare on Carp Street. It is a little bit of a headstand fly. Sometimes I swing it a little bit. The dubbing in the back, the dubbing tail in the back actually has some cool action. I haven't really seen it on a lot of flies, but it's just something with this dubbing twister that I was just experimenting with new things. Sure, it's been done before, but yeah, that's the Nightmare on Carp Street. Alright guys, thanks for watching. This was the Nightmare on Carp Street. It's been a very effective fly that I, along with a lot of people, tie in a lot of different variations, colors, different tails, eyes. You can tie in different hurls. The possibilities are endless. We have all the materials in the shop. Stop by, ask any questions you want. Stop by on Thursday night. We have fly tying night. Love to see you there. Love to see you there. With that, hit the like button, subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you at the shop.